Hi, Heather.
Hey Mike, how are you?
Good, and yourself?
Doing good, thanks. So
How are
what's
you?
new with doing good.
I was going to say
What's
hi, audience. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm fine. No news is good news. My back has been bothering me a little bit lately, but otherwise, I am fine.
cool? Now I
And I'm
saw
looking forward to doing a 4-day kayak trip pretty soon. And,
nice.
yep,
Is
I'm
that gonna
going to get my first vaccine later today.
Oh really?
Hmm.
Oh cool. Right
Hmm.
on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't meet any of the eligible groups, but there's a particular pharmacy that sometimes has extras because people don't show up, and they welcome me to come down and get one.
Very cool.
Yep. So I can tell more about that on our next show.
Awesome.
Yep.
And
But yeah, as soon as the show is over, I have to race down there to make my appointment.
okay. So the going back to the kayaking trip, are you doing that on the Colorado River?
Yeah, it's only a river anywhere around here. So this time we'll be doing a 55-mile stretch of Lake Mead.
Oh my God. How can your arms survive that? How do they not fall off?
I'd like to think I'm in good shape, but the last trip we did 51 miles in 3 days. I was perfectly fine. I thought it was, not that difficult, but like I said,
Wow.
I'd like to think I'm in decent shape. So,
Well, you must be in good shape because I saw on your social media that you just climbed a mountain. Is that right?
yeah, so I am kind of back into the whole rock climbing thing. When I first moved to Vegas in 2001, I was really into that. And, after a few years, I had climbed everything around here multiple times. And I got a little bored with it. And then I started to get into unicycling. And then after that, I went through a rollerblading phase and a mountain biking phase and a road biking phase. And I guess I've come full circle and I'm back to rock climbing. So I do it with what's called the 52 Peak Club. So in fact, I happen to have one of their cards right here. So every time you do something on their list, they give you a card. And
Oh,
as soon as
cool.
you have one card from all 52 peaks, then you become then they give you a plaque. So here's one for one I recently did called Global Peak.
Very cool.
And these are tough climbs. They're not tough in terms of mileage so much, but steepness and the technicality of the climb. Sometimes they involve needing ropes.
Wow.
Sometimes people bring helmets on them. So I'm enjoying that. My next one is a week from today. Any of the Vegas locals, I encourage you to get into it. This is
Sounds
a pretty tough group. They go fast. They do difficult stuff. But there's other climbing groups that, does easier things or at a slower pace. But if you think you're a pretty advanced climber, they're called Hiking Las Vegas. And
awesome.
they have a good Facebook page.
So go check them out
Yep.
if you're interested.
All right. Let's jump right into the questions, shall we?
Sounds good.
And I believe you will be mixing in some of your own trivia today, Heather.
Yep, I brought my own trivia.
All right. Well, I will let the audience have a crack at it first, but I'll be playing along.
Sounds good.
Okay, so Heather, ask me something from the peanut gallery.
Okay, here we go. Now we're going to do this in categories, and the category is called bilingo. Question. In Blackjack, it refers to turning one hand into two, while in Roulette, it's when the bet covers two numbers. What is it?
Oh, that's too easy. I'll let the audience answer.
Okay, well, they do get harder as we go on. So
Okay, why don't we let the audience chew on that while you ask me a question from the audience?
sounds good. So our very first question of the evening comes from Eddie. And remember, the sooner you guys get the questions in, the more likely we are to answer them, as we are going from first to last. And Eddie says, why are there different blackjack strategies or basic strategies, especially on splitting?
Splitting, you say? It's a good example is in single deck basic strategy, what is the right play for having 2 7s against a 10?
You hit that, don't you?
Not in single deck.
Ooh. Okay, what's the correct answer?
The correct answer is you stand. And
Okay.
this seems, you would never see in double deck anywhere up to 8 deck strategy. They're a 14 against a 10. First of all, it would be abhorrent to split 2 7s against a 10. Normally, under most sets of rules, you would just hit that because you then treat it as a 14 against a 10. But in single deck, you stand. Why, you might ask? It's because in single deck, half the 7s are already out of that deck and in your hand. And if the dealer gets a 20, the only thing that's going to beat that 20 is a 21. And the only single card that will get you there is another 7. So your chances of getting another 7 on your third card are reduced by almost 50% in a single deck game. Therefore, because of that hope of getting a 7 is so significantly reduced that it really lowers the value of hitting to the point where the value is less than that of standing. So that's why, again, in a single deck game, you should stand on 7 against 10. So why do I bring that up? It's an illustration to show the effect of removal. And the effect of removing cards is so much stronger in single deck. And so that's one reason basic strategy varies, is according to the number of decks. And another reason is, does a dealer hit or stand on a soft 17? So it is bad for the player if the dealer hits a soft 17. And yeah, that just changes the strategy a little bit there too. For example, there's more surrendering going on if the dealer hits a soft 17 because the dealer is more likely to get a good hand. And so it makes the value of surrendering better in comparison. So that's my quick answer there. But it all comes down to the effective removal and the combinations of all the ways the cards can fall. So there's not a good soundbite answer. It's just just what the math says.
Okay, sounds pretty good.
Okay.
Now, nobody answered that question. I think it was too easy for people to even try. They're so used to your trivia questions where it's actually hard.
Well, then may I chime in?
Go for it.
The answer is split.
Woohoo!
That's why I tried to enunciate the word splitting when I read that question.
So let's try something a little bit harder then. Here's the trivia question. In poker, when a player discards his hand, and in roulette, it's the action used to pick up checks. Do you know the answer?
In poker, it's what?
When the player discards his hand.
Okay, I think I know the answer, but I'll give the audience a chance.
Okay, sounds good. So if you guys know.
I'll tell you my answer by the private chat. I've never used this before.
Oh, cool. That sounds like fun. I never look at it, so I'm sort of glad you never use it.
Okay, am I right?
Yep, you are correct.
Yay!
Yes.
Okay. Meanwhile, let's ask me another question from the audience, please.
Okay, next up is Morad. On slot play, are the bonus games random number generator, or are they truly random, such as, the pick 3, which always seems to pick the least of the match 3 options?
It can be either way. Sometimes the outcome is predestined, and it may just show you like a screen of, like, say, 25 suitcases, and you open 3 of them. But it doesn't, if it's predestined, then it's not going to matter which suitcases you pick. They're going to add up to whatever you were predestined to win. Now, I have designed hundreds of slot machines for internet casinos, and I hate doing it that way. I think it disrespects the player. I think that if you're going to show players like a bunch of things to pick from, I think the player should be in charge of their own destiny. So the way I will design that game is I will have the prizes randomly placed in the suitcases, and what the player picks does determine what they get. So the player has free will. He controls his own destiny the way I make games and the way I would say probably 2/3 of them are done. But again, it's not a requirement. You can predestine wins in slot machines and it doesn't break any laws.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, that's my answer there.
Awesome.
Okay, I see someone got the right answer. I see Ronaldo got it.
Ronaldo. Oh, yes. There we go.
Is he the first?
Woo! As far as the first, looks like it. Yep, he's the first.
Ronaldo, is your avatar there Lee Van Cleef?
Okay, so put that answer in the chat and we'll check it out.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
So
here's a question for the audience.
Okay.
Who is this on my t-shirt?
I think you have to get a little closer. Oh, wait, let me. There we go. Nice.
Anyone my age, I hope, should be able to get it. Do you know, Heather?
It looks like a calculator.
It is a calculator, but I'm looking for the particular brand. I think you're probably too young, Heather.
Yeah, I don't recognize them.
Okay.
So
Heather,
next,
you want to give us another gambling trivia question?
sounds good. Okay, so this one's going to be a little harder. I think you'll know it. So in casino slang, it refers to networking in order to obtain a better job, while in craps, it's the commission charged by the house, also known as the vigorish.
Oh, I know.
Oh, okay, cool.
Private chat too.
Okay, sounds good. So if you guys know, put it in the chat and we will get to it in 1 second. And Mike, you do know the answer. That is correct. Yep.
Okay. Meanwhile, can I go to a Wizard of Vegas question?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, somebody asked me a political question, but I'm not going to comment on that. Somebody asked me about a particular Wizard of Vegas member, and I'm not going to answer that because I don't like to say bad things about people, and some things that I know this person, and some things I might say might be considered to be confidential. So,
Okay.
Somebody made a comment about Jeopardy, but it wasn't really a question. Let's see, just some general Jeopardy comments. Yeah, I don't have any actual questions that I'm going to answer from Wizard of Vegas. So, how about giving me another one from the live stream?
Sounds good. So I of 2000 says, 1, looks like my previous question got deleted. And 2, in Blackjack, is there strategy to the number of hands? Is TC plus 8 plus? If TC is 8 plus, how many hands would you play? 1 to 3. Thanks.
I don't.
In Blackjack, is there a
Okay.
strategy to number of hands?
Okay, I guess his question is there a strategy on terms of how many hands to play? And TC plus 8 means a true count of 8 or more. So this goes more to, shall we say, your style of play as a card counter. Let's say that I would say that if the count is good and there's other players at the table, then when the count is good, you should bet more hands because you want as many of those good cards as possible when the count is way that high. You don't want them wasted on other players. So that would be a good time to bet more hands. And even if you're just playing by yourself, that would still be a good time to bet more hands because you want as big of a percentage of those good count cards as you can get. So, and meanwhile, when the count is bad, you should only play 1 hand or even walk away from the table, which is like playing 0 hands. Now, I will tell you that other players hate it when players switch around, like playing one hand, then three hands, then one, then two. And, there's a myth that causes the table to do badly. It's totally not true. But that's one reason why card counters don't like to play with recreational players. It's because they're given a hard time for changing up the number of hands that they play. So my general advice is that if it's your style, to bet more hands when the count is good.
Sounds good. Cool.
Okay.
And I just want to add one little thing to that. YouTube changed their algorithm or something. So now they are automatically deleting comments. It's not us deleting the comments or anything like that. It's YouTube, for some reason, thinks that it needs to be deleted and they delete it. I had that happen to me the other day where I was commenting on YouTube and I said Nog, N-O-G, which is a character at Star Trek, and it deleted it like it was offensive. And I'm like, it's a character from Star Trek. Why are you deleting my comment? So I just wanted to add that real quick.
I wonder what's so offensive about that.
It's the algorithm. I think it's like they don't recognize something, so then it like freaks out and it deletes it because, oh my God, it can't be good or something.
But what if someone wrote eggnog?
Right? Good question.
And how come eggnog is the only kind of nog? How come you never hear of other nogs? What is a nog anyway?
A noggin is a head, right?
Right, but I'm just talking about a nog, like egg nog.
I always think of a Ferengi.
Okay, well, that's about as far as I can take that.
Okay. So going back to our trivia question, I'm looking through the comments and I don't see a correct answer. However, I do like I of 2000's answer of Captain Crunch. I think that's pretty funny. It is not Captain Crunch. So the answer to that trivia question was juice. So you get juiced into a casino. That's when you get a job via networking. And then a vigorish or a vig on craps is also known as juice.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so next trivia question. And by the way, thank you guys for doing my trivia questions today. I feel really excited that we get to do my trivia questions.
Did anyone get my shirt, by the way?
Maybe that's what Captain Crunch was for. Is it Professor Solar?
No.
Wizard's Calculator?
Nope.
Nope. Paladin?
No. I will give a hint that the word professor is in the title, but it's not Professor Solar.
Okay. In that case, I don't see any other answers.
You guys are either too old or too young. But the answer is this is the little professor. And this was a calculator that was meant to teach kids math. And instead of you asking the calculator questions, it would ask you questions.
Oh,
and
that's
different levels, but it might say something like, what is 7 times 9? And you would put in what you thought the answer was, and it would test you, and it would tell you your score at the end. And I think you could repeat the ones you missed, and it was on this, this came out in the 70s, I think. So it had this very simple LED display, but yes, but the little professor, I would like to credit the little professor should get some credit for my love of math.
Awesome. Okay, so now that we know the answer to those two trivia questions, let's move on to our next trivia question. This popular Macau game translates into dice pair, and which, by the way, we have moved on from the category bilingo, and now we're in dice. So this popular Macau game translates to dice pair. If you guys know, put your answer in the comments, and we'll see. Mike, yes, you are absolutely correct. That is right. So while we're waiting for everyone to put their answers in, our next question comes from Paul. Assume 2 players each risk $100 every day on roulette for 7 days. Which player will lose more on average? Player A, who makes one $100 bet on blackjack per day, or player B, who bets $20 over 5 spins or hands on $20 over 5 spins on roulette on black every day.
It's the same. They're both going to bet $700 in that week. And assuming they're playing 00 roulette, we take 700. Whoops. and multiply that by 5.26%. So that's so I'm going to multiply that by 2 and divide by 38. So they're both on average going to lose $36.84. Now the player A is going to have more volatility, but they both can expect to lose the same $36.84.
Okay. And just to clarify what you did real quick for people who are watching, that 5.26% is the house edge. So that's how much the casino makes per hand.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so let's see if you guys got the trivia question. And the first person to get that is Eye of 2000, Sickbo. Not correctly spelled, however, I get your meaning.
And the odd thing is that Sickbo is played with 3 dice.
Yeah. Then why do they call it dice pair then? That's strange.
Don't know.
Okay, so our next trivia question is also dice related. In Malaysia and Singapore, this game is also known as mini dice. So if you guys know the answer to that, put that in the chat. Mike, you know?
Oh, I think I do.
Okay.
I think I do.
Cool.
I'm going to put both. I'm going to put the answer in both English and Chinese.
Oh, wow. Overachiever.
It's the Chinese. And
Okay.
What's the third thing?
And while we are
there we go.
Okay. You are incorrect. Yeah.
Really?
That's not it.
Well, what can I say?
Okay. So if you guys know.
Pass the dunce cap.
Okay, next question.
Yes, give me one from the peanut gallery.
This is from Joseph. Are you familiar with comp killer roulette system? Not necessarily used to win, but to lose a little and get great comps.
Nope.
Okay.
Short answer there.
That was an easy one. Next one is from Super Glock. What would you consider a winning game in terms of number of hands and number of units won? To feel like a real player, more than just winning your first hand and running out of the casino. You want me to read it again?
I'm not sure I understand the question. I'm reading it now.
What would you consider a winning game in terms of number of hands and number of units won? And to feel like a real player, more than just winning your first hand and running out of the casino.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand the question, but I think even if I did, let me just say that there's no magical betting system to beat the casino. If the casino has the house advantage, there's no way to fool that. There are ways of maybe increasing your probability of a session win at the expense of occasional really big losses and the opposite. But in the long run, that house edge, not only can't it be overcome, it can't even be dented. So if you want to use a betting system, by all means, go ahead. Just don't be under the misconception that it's going to help you in the long run. So that's the best I can do with that one.
Okay. Okay, so let's see if anyone got the trivia question. And no. So someone says bubble craps. That's not the correct answer. And no one else did a guess. So in that case, the real answer, the correct answer is, what is chuck-a-luck? What is chuck-a-luck? That was the answer. Yep.
Okay.
So next question. This 17th century game evolved into using 2 dice and was the origins of our beloved modern day craps. What game was it?
Okay, I think I know.
Okay. And then let's get another question from the peanut gallery ready for us.
Am I right?
Yes, you are correct.
Yay! Okay, peanut gallery.
Okay, if you guys know, put the answer in the chat. And while we are waiting, We got 2 questions. One's more of a statement. The other is a question. So first, a statement. David says, Heather, you should probably promote your site because a lot of people don't even know you have one.
Heather, by all means, give yourself a plug.
I don't promote my site very often. So I did this time, though, because I have Vegas Aces right there. And I actually felt a little guilty for putting that in there. But yeah. So if you guys are interested in learning how to play or deal casino table games, check out vegas-aces.com. That's my website. Here's an update. I just recently hired a web designer, so we are updating it and redoing it and adding more content on there. So expect to see changes in the coming weeks. Expect more information, more content, and expect it to get better. Yay.
Yay.
Okay.
So if I could add to the plug. So it's
thank you.
vegasaces.com, and there's a hyphen between Vegas and Aces. And the emphasis is on dealing games. So there's a lot of useful resources there, and it's there's no advertising, at least when last I checked, except for things that you might be promoting of your own.
I did start doing some advertising, so we do have some banner ads there.
Okay, well, I don't blame you. I have them too. So, but yeah, if it's one of the few like high quality, handmade, labors of love kind of websites about gambling out there, and there's not that many.
Thank you so much for that. Really do appreciate that. Okay, let's get to the question because I know people are wanting to hear you talk. Wizard, this is from Mo the Cat. Last time we talked about a Steve Ori YouTube video with dice throwing expert. I am so going to butcher this name. Dominic Lorigo.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it, and would you like to comment?
I have not. Is that the same person as the Dominator? I assume so. Yeah, I would love to see that video. I will try to remember to look for that later after the show. But so the Dominator is spoken of very highly in Frank Scobletti's Craps book as this person who is really good at dice setting. I don't want to say I don't believe it, but I've always been skeptical of dice influence in general, and but I don't want to say anything bad about a video I haven't seen. But hopefully, please ask me again in the next live stream.
Sounds good.
I'm going to make a note to myself
of
that. What was the name again? Dominic.
Dominic, and his last name is LO Riggio.
Okay. All right.
Sweet. Do you want another question, or should we see if anyone has answers to the trivia?
Let's see if anyone answered your last trivia question.
Okay, we have Beziku. No, that's not correct. And Whist. I know where you're going with that, but that is not the correct answer. So, Mike, you want to tell them the correct answer?
The correct answer is Hazard.
Woo!
So this is as Heather said, it's a ancestor of craps. It had pretty similar rules, but I think that instead of choosing the number that caused you to lose, in other words, the 7, you could pick any number, and there weren't as many bets and stuff like that. So that's about as far as I can take it.
Sounds about right. But yeah, it's basically where craps came from.
And by the way, I noticed somebody asked about Katie Couric. She is the guest host on Jeopardy this week.
Oh,
and
really?
I watched the show yesterday, and yeah, she does a nice job. She's very perky and upbeat, as you might expect Katie Couric to be. But yeah, she does a fine job. So far, everyone's done a fine job. So But I like this format where they keep changing the host. So I hope they stick with that for a while.
So who's your favorite host so far?
Like I said, they've all done a good job, but I think that if you put a gun to my head and made me pick one to be the permanent host, I think I would go with Ken Jennings.
Yeah. Okay.
Even though, yeah, I really respect his mastery of the game, and I think sometimes he gives good comments like why an incorrect answer is incorrect, and yeah, so he's a little bit dry, to be honest with you, but what can I say? I just like the guy.
Okay, cool. So let's move on to another question. Now, let me know if you want to do this or if you like this idea. I will name 2 or 3 casinos, and I want you to tell me what state it's in. Does that sound like fun?
Yes.
Okay, good. So what state are these casinos in? Red Hawk, River Rock, and Grayton. And while we're waiting, real quick, Ronaldo says, I just went to your website. Great website, Heather. And I just wanted to say thank you very much for that. Really do appreciate it. Okay. So Mike.
I'm going to guess here.
Okay, let's see. That's a pretty good guess. You're right. That's absolutely correct.
Yay!
Yay! That's a good guess.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let us go back to questions while we're waiting for people to answer. Next question comes from Miami Boy. What are your thoughts on the stock market? Have you ever tried to calculate any edge on any of the indicators?
No. Can't say that I've looked at that. I mean, I do some analysis on stocks that I individually pick, but most of my stock money is in a S&P 500 mutual fund. And my opinion in general about the stock market is it's kind of like betting sports, is that for the most part, there's really smart people that control the big money that influences the price of stocks, and I think for the most part the values are pretty well set. However, there's also some emotionalism involved, and I think that the public in general will overreact to bad news, and I think that. For example, with the coronavirus, when the stock market fell like by 40%, I bought into it, and I thought it was a good time. I thought that things would eventually rebound, and they did. And and lots of times, let's say there's a big plane crash, and I would be tempted to buy stock in that company right after the price falls, because I think that the public tends to overreact to things like that. But that's about all the stock advice I can give, and I don't even know if it's good advice.
With well, it's not a matter whether it's good or bad, right? When you are doing stocks, what's your risk aversion like? Like, what's your risk versus reward?
I have a long-term attitude. Is the money that I put in the stock market, I'm not going to pull it out until for at least 10 years. Like, that is retirement money for me. And so I don't sweat the daily ups and downs in the stock market, because I know that in the long run, it has been going up well historically. And now you might ask, what kind of balance do I have between stocks and other investments? I'm thinking about getting more gold and silver, especially gold. I think silver is overpriced right now, but I probably should have more money in that, and the precious metals have done quite well lately. So, and who knows, maybe it's a bad time to buy because they are high, but I believe in diversification, and most of my wealth is either in stocks or real estate. So, yeah, so I'm thinking about buying some more gold.
Sounds cool.
The name, for the reasons of diversification.
Sounds cool. Okay, so let's do the answer to that trivia question real quick, and then we'll get on to another question from you guys. So I see Oklahoma, no. Arizona, no. Colorado, no. Nobody got it. Except Mike.
Yay.
You want to tell people what it was?
Yeah, it's California.
Yes, California.
I just knew, I heard of the river rock. That's the only reason I know.
Yeah.
But another thing is, like, after the shutdown of the casinos, all of the casino stocks took such a beating. I mean, it was worse than the market in general. And so I thought it was a good time to buy, and it was. What can I say? I bought stock in the Sands and Boyd Gaming because I already had some in Wynn and MGM.
Sounds good.
Yep. But it's not like I make money on every stock trade. Like I did really badly with Southwest Airlines, and I lost a bundle on a biomedical company. So, what can I say? Okay. Hopefully in the long run, I've done okay.
Cool.
Okay. Do you have a new trivia question for us, Heather?
New trivia question. Okay. What state are these casinos in? Isle of Capri, Golden Nugget, La Berge. I'm pretty sure I mispronounced that. If you guys know the answer, put it in the chat. And while we were waiting, I got another question from Paul. And before we go into that, Mike, you are not correct.
Oh, no.
Oh, but you're close. Okay, so while we're waiting for everyone to put your answers in, Paul asks, can you please discuss your AP win at the Longhorn?
Okay, since I wrote about this, I guess I can address that. So last Thursday, a week ago from today, the Longhorn had a promotion where they doubled any win of at least $500, and up to the double portion was up to 1,000. So you got the full double if you won anything between 500 and 1,000. And I was fortunately told about this, and it started at midnight. And by midnight, the whole place was full of Advantage players. And this was a juicy promotion. And I had been sworn to secrecy on what game I played. But I played a game that was very carefully chosen to get a lot of wins between 500 and 1,000. And yeah, and I got 12 wins before they shut it down at 5:30 in the morning, and I would have gotten more, but the double portion, they gave you a handwritten voucher that 2 employees had to sign, and they were running around like crazy while it lasted because people were hitting them right and left. So I hit 12 of them, and then when I ran through the free play on Tuesday, when it's all said and done, my win was about 7,500. And I think that was typical for most people doing it. And most people, when they came in to redeem their free play, the casino said, okay, we're going to let you redeem your free play. We're going to honor our deal, but when you're done, we're going to 86 you. And most players, in fact, I'm sure all of them said, that's your right. Just let me get my free play, and then you can do what you want. And they were just informally 86, not read the Trespass Act. Now, of course, when I go in, I already knew that they knew that I played it, and they were asking some other players if they were me. So I went in there with a copy of my book as a gift, and the casino manager was really nice to me, and he said, shame on us, that was our bad. It was a costly lesson to us, but yeah, we fully intend to honor your free play, and we have honored everybody else's, and he even, in fact, I have it right here. He gave me some swag from the player club. Like here's my Longhorn mask, and it's adjustable too, and it's also upside down. Yeah, and a coffee cup and a T-shirt. But of course I got special treatment. But yeah, here we go. Here's my Longhorn mask.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, so that was definitely a nice lucrative play. It was also very low risk. So yeah, that's about all I'm at liberty to say. There is a discussion about it in my forum right now under the title Longhorn Double Jackpot Promotion, I think is the title. So yeah, so there's a little bit more information there. And I also wrote my newsletter this week about it. So yeah, that is that's the short version of the story.
Nice. That was a good story.
Thanks.
And I like that mask. That's awesome.
Yes, this is. I don't have an adjustable one before, so you can. You can adjust. You can adjust it so that it doesn't. Stays on your face tighter.
Sweet. Cool. Okay, so going back to your answers to the trivia question, and then we'll move on to another question for the wizard.
Mm-hmm.
People were asking, was it Mississippi? Nope, not Mississippi, not Nevada, not Naples, not Missouri, but we do have one correct answer from James. It was Louisiana. Louisiana was the correct answer.
Yeah, I said Mississippi.
You were close.
I didn't know there was a golden nugget in Louisiana, and there was one in Tunica. At least I'm pretty sure there was a while back.
Mm-hmm. You were close. Okay, so here's the next one. What state are these casinos in? Muckleshoot, Silver Reef, and Red Wind. If you guys know, put the answer in the chat. While we are waiting, we will go to our next question for the wizard. And before we do that, real quick, yes, Mike, you are correct. You got that. Okay, so let's see what our next question is. TMOC asks, what is the sneakiest thing the casinos do in your opinion?
What is the sneakiest thing they do? That's a good question. Okay, here's one. Okay, this doesn't fall under a casino, but I really find resort fees extremely sneaky and dishonest, but I'm not going to go down that path because that's more of a hotel thing. Okay, I don't like it when casinos have a tournament and then that's free to their players, and then you go to this tournament and then they shake you down for rebuy fees, and of course everyone likes to rebuy, but I tend to think that they get more money in rebuy fees than they actually give out in the tournament. And so I think that that's kind of dishonest. I know it doesn't break any gaming regulations, but I think that if players invest more money in rebuy fees, then that should increase the prize pool. And probably some people are going to say things like I should mention like 6-5 blackjack or 000 roulette, but at least they disclose what the rules are, and shame on the players for playing those games. So I'm not going to say those things because I'm very big on honesty and being being honest with your rules, whether they be good or bad rules. So, but I find things when they invite you to a tournament and then they that I think it's kind of disingenuous when they shake you down for rebuy fees. But I'll probably think of a better answer later, but that's the best I can do off the top of my head.
I think that's a pretty good answer. And I agree with you completely about the resort fees. Did you hear that one of the casinos got in trouble for that?
No, what's the story?
I don't know the story enough to tell you guys all about it. I just know that I was reading something in the local news. Either they got in trouble for it or there was a lawsuit or something. But yeah, check out the local news. They have something on it. Okay, so the answer to the trivia question, we got a winner. Darius said Washington. You are absolutely correct. Good job. Very nice. Next one is, what state are these three casinos in? We have the Santa Ana Star, Sandia, and Inn of the Mountain Gods. Okay. So let me know. And while we are waiting, we are going to go on to the next question from the peanut gallery. Mike, let's see. Yep, you're correct, Mike.
Yay.
Yay. Okay, so our next question comes from Paul, and this is an easy one. Do casino chips expire?
Yeah, the casinos will eventually retire their chips, and they don't have to, but usually they will retire a particular style, and they have to give the public some advance notice that they're going to do this. And lots of times they will honor the old chips anyway. But yeah, they do retire, and they're allowed to retire.
Cool. And just to add to that, if you do want to retire old chips, go to the casino cage. They're going to be able to exchange those chips better, easier, faster than anyone on any table, blackjack, roulette, otherwise.
Well, I have a story about that. Is I once had a whole bunch of $1,000 chips from the Red Rock, and I cashed some of them at the tables, but they would like put it in their system every time I did this. And how did the story go? And then but I would only do it like one chip at a time. But then one time I brought one in, and they said, you're going to have to go to the cage to redeem this. So I brought it to the cage, and they say, you don't have enough play to explain why you have all these expired yellow $1,000 chips, and we're not going to honor them anymore. What? So I just walked away. I just said I'm not happy with that, but because I knew that, for one thing, that I could find people who could launder the chips that did have play there. But what I did is, fortunately, this was close to the Super Bowl, and so when it came time for the Super Bowl, this was when I was still betting crazy money in Super Bowl props, and the sports book accepted them, no questions asked.
Yep, that's a good point. That's a really, really good point.
Yep. So if you guys have any recently expired chips and they don't honor them at the cage, try the sports book.
Cool. I love it when we get great advice on here. Okay, so next up, which is pretty much all the time. Next up is the answer to the trivia question. And we have, let's see, New Mexico, no. Massachusetts, no.
I think that the first one was right.
Oh, New Mexico. Woo. There we go. You're right.
Do you know what sandia means in English?
No.
It means watermelon.
Oh, that's cool.
The Watermelon Casino.
Does that mean the casino's full of pinks and greens?
That's a good question. But I've never been to that one, so I don't know.
Okay. So our last one, where it's what state is this in? What state is this in? Boomtown, Scarlet Pearl, and IP. So if you guys know, put the answer in the chat, and we will go over it here in a sec. Until then,
Boomtown.
Our next question.
Boomtown, IP, and what?
Boomtown, Scarlet Pearl, and IP.
Okay. Here's my answer.
Yep, you're right.
Yay!
Woo! Okay, so while we're waiting for you guys to answer, our next question comes from Donald. Would you be willing to readjust the Baccarat practice on the Wizard of Oz to burn the card how they do in the casino?
That's going to be kind of a major fuss. The guy who made that is probably not going to be very interested in redoing the game. So, and you're the first person to ever ask for that in the many years I've had that game. So it's not that I'm saying it's a bad idea, but I just don't see trying to get that done. It would be a headache.
Well, I mean, it's honest. Sometimes you can't do everything, right?
You have to weigh the pros and cons. And
yeah, exactly. So our next question comes from Big Boy. If you are playing a game like 3-card poker where the anti-bet has an edge of 3.37% and the pair plus has an edge of 7.28%, does this make it a 10% house edge if you play both of them together? I like that question.
No, you would just take the average. So 7.28 plus 3.37. So the average is 5.325. Okay. So assuming you bet the same amount on both bets, that would be your combined house advantage.
Nice. Okay, so let's see if we have any answers to the trivia question. And Mississippi is correct. So Deborah got that one. Woo! Good job,
yeah,
Deborah.
By the way, IP stands for Imperial Palace.
Okay, so our next trivia question is going to be something totally different than states. We are moving on. Ooh, you might like this one. We're going to do blackjack strategy. Okay. So on a double deck, if the player has an ace-3 and the dealer's up card is a 4, then the player should do this. If you know the answer, put it in the chat and we'll get to it in 1 minute.
Am I right?
And yep, you are right.
Yay.
Okay, so let us go to the next question. This one should be fun. David says, if you get $1,000 to gamble, what casino and what game would you go and play?
Well, I would pick whatever game had the lowest house advantage, which is probably going to be Blackjack. And so we also asked what casino. That's not going to make any big difference to me. If it were a large amount of money, I would carefully play it at the casino with the best rules, which I believe would be the double deck games where the dealer stands in a soft 17 that they have at the, I know they have it at the Mirage and I think the Aria. But when I go out and get my vaccine today, I might go, because I've been hearing rumors that the MGM and Caesars properties are going almost entirely 6-5 blackjack now. So really? I need to confirm or deny that.
Ooh, dang. Why would they do that? I mean, even in the high limit?
There might be exceptions in the high limit room.
Okay.
But they would probably argue that 3-2 blackjack just is not very profitable for them. For example, I looked at some statistics and I found that even with the average play, not even basic strategy play, that if you had a blackjack table with 3 players betting $50 a hand, the casino would lose money because of the what they pay the dealer, all the benefits, and all the whole what they pay everyone up the chain of command. That the house advantage just doesn't cover expenses, and so that's their argument. So
okay,
it is what it is.
Okay, let's see if anyone has the answer to the trivia question. Let's see. Surrender, no. Hit, no. We got it. Deborah. Deborah was the first one to say double down. You got it.
I see Alec got it too.
Yeah, Brad got it. Alec got it. But yeah, Deborah was the first one to say it. Okay. So our next trivia question is, on a single deck, when the dealer stands or stays on a soft 17, if the player has an ace 7 and the dealer's up card is an ace, then the player should do this. You want me to say that again?
No, I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
And while we are waiting for you guys to answer that, let's see what our next question is. And Mike, yeah, you got it, Mike. Okay, so our next question is, looks like an easy one. Do you know what paladin means?
Paladin.
And I think it has something to do with this one. It's Richard Boone, who played Paladin, have gun will. Well, if you guys want, do you know what a paladin is?
Paladin.
Because I can answer that question.
I know what palladium is, but paladin. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, here we go. In video games, on MMOs, there's a character called a paladin, and it's basically a mix between your wizard and a priest, but you still do spells, but they're typically healing spells. I play way too much video games. Okay, so our next question that has to do with gambling and absolutely nothing to do with video games is from Andy. What are your thoughts on online casinos? Can they be trusted? I played several and had very questionable results. Just seems too coincidental of luck running out every time. What do you think? Thank you.
Okay, I'll say that probably 99% of the time, online casinos do play fairly. I think they might make some unethical decisions regarding bonuses and things like that. But the actual play of the cards, like I said, 99% of the time, in my opinion, is fine. And nobody has done more than me in exposing that bad 1%. For example, I recently exposed the casino called Wixie Play for cheating. And you can read all about that through my online casino blacklist. But, people write to me all the time with their cheating accusations. And most of the time it's a lot of adjectives and there's nothing much I can do with it. No, if you're going to accuse someone of cheating, you need numbers. You need to say, for example, this was exactly my betting pattern and this is how much I lost. Or you might say something like, I noticed that the dealer was getting 10 times as many blackjacks as I did. Then I want to see exactly how many you got and how many the dealer got. And so it has to you need to go through the scientific process of making a proper accusation of cheating. First, you have to develop your hypothesis, preferably not just saying that they're cheating, but showing how they cheat. For example, maybe they're dealing seconds in blackjack, something like that. And then you have to gather evidence to verify your theory and then analyze the evidence and see how well it lined up with what your hypothesis is. And you can't look at old play and find something unusual about it unless it's really egregious and say that's proof of cheating. No, like if you notice, like I just said, that the dealer is getting way too many blackjacks or you're getting too few. Okay, that's some old evidence, but then now that you've developed this hypothesis that that's how you're cheating, then gather more evidence and look specifically for that. And like I said, most accusations I get, I would say that 90% have no numbers, just adjectives. 9% do have numbers, but it could be easily explained. It's just ordinary bad luck. And 1% actually has something that looks fishy.
Cool.
Usually when there's something that looks fishy, then I will play it myself. And most of the time I get what I think is just a fair game. So it's possible that what was fishy really was just extra bad luck, or maybe they stopped cheating. Who knows?
Okay, cool.
Okay, so we're about out of time here. Did we have your trivia questions left hanging, Heather?
I got one more trivia question and one more peanut gallery question, if you're up for it. Okay, cool. So the answer to the last trivia question was stand, and Ronaldo got that right. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So our next one is James Bond. So in the movie Casino Royale, how much of the government's buy-in was needed for it to be a high-stakes game? You guys know the answer. Put it in the chat. And we have one last question. If you guys put in a question and we didn't get to it, no worries. Join us again. We're going to have another live stream in 2 weeks. Remember that the earlier you get your question in, the more likely it is that we are going to be able to answer it. And you can always ask your question an hour or two early before we start our live stream. And Mike, oh, you did not get that correct, Mike.
That was just an educated guess. Oh, let me ask a quick James Bond question, though.
Okay.
Okay. Which is the only James Bond movie where Bond does not have sex?
Oh. There's such a thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I thought that's cool. Learn something new every day.
Yep.
Okay, so here is our peanut gallery question. Darius asked this question several times, so I wanted to make sure I get that in. What is your opinion of bubble craps?
Well, first of all, I think it plays fairly. I hear all kinds of theories about how it uses magnets and stuff to cheat players. I don't believe any of that. I think that it's a good, fun way to gamble with a small budget because you can make very low bets on that game, very low house advantage. So I think it's a really good choice of a game to play if you don't have a lot of gambling money and you want some good odds. And, I think it's a fun game. I think that unlike most electronic games, there's a little bit of a camaraderie between players because I think 4 players play it at the same time. Do I play it? No. But this is because I don't perceive any advantage to playing it. But yeah, I have nothing negative to say about it.
Okay.
And I know a lot of players really like it.
Very cool. Okay.
I see Peter got my question.
Peter?
Peter Metzger correctly guessed or answered Quantum of Solace.
Woo! Hi,
Very
Peter.
good.
Very cool. Good to see you, Peter. And then speaking of people who answered questions correctly, Deborah said 10 million. That is correct. The answer
Hey,
to that
Deborah,
is 10 million.
I was just short 1-0.
Just by 1-0.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have to rush off and get my vaccination.
That is so cool that you get to do that.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for showing up. And then, Mike, when is the next time we are going to be able to do this?
Let's see my calendar here. How about, so today's, I forgot to say, everybody, Pi Day is in 3 days. Don't forget. 3/14. So Heather, how about March 25th?
Sounds good. Thursday, March 25th at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I can't wait to see everyone there. Awesome.
Okay, so I will tell you the story of my kayak trip at that time.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, thanks,
Okay,
audience,
guys.
for showing up and all your questions. Thanks, Heather, for all your help, and see you guys in 2 weeks.
My pleasure. See you guys in 2 weeks.
Okay, bye.
Bye.